Good evening, I'm John Carter and welcome to Poland Daily. Everything indicates that the current Prime Minister, Mateusz Morawiecki, will once again be given the mission of forming the new government in Poland. The head of posts of most ministries remain an open issue. Aleksandra Zarzycka has more on potential cabinet appointments.
One thing is for certain. The new cabinet after the elections will be formed by Mateusz Morawiecki. The names and changes in the construction of the government team, there are still to be decided. This opens the field for speculation. There have been some unofficial leaks that we will see a new faces and that the new team will be one of continuation and acceleration. According to the government spokesman, each of the two Law and Justice coalition parties will receive 2 heads of ministries. Jarosław Gowin is planned to stay as the head of the Ministry of Education and Higher Education, and Jadwiga Emilewicz will be the head of the Ministry of Infrastructure. Zbigniew Ziobro is to stay as the head of the Ministry of Justice, and someone from the United Poland Party will head one of the ministries, and the most frequently mentioned is the Ministry of Digital Affairs, with Marcin Horała, the candidate to be its leader. There is an idea to revive the ministry to oversee the companies run with the funds from the government treasury. The candidate mentioned is Jacek Sasin. The head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs seems to be up for grabs, probably between Krzysztof Szczerski or Konrad Szymański. Krzysztof Szczerski himself said in one of the interviews that it does not seem feasible for him to be moving from the presidential palace to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The media speculations are bringing a new idea of creating super ministry with all special services and special forces of internal affairs under one roof, with Mariusz Kamiński heading that ministry. For now, all of this is media speculation, and the final makeup of the cabinet will be presented by the Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki.
Do tej pory kluczowe decyzje dotyczące życia Polaków.
Until now, Jarosław Kaczyński made decisions himself personally, and as far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed with that. The only difference will be that some other people will pull funds from the treasury for themselves. I do not see any thoughts here about more efficient mode of operating the country.
Skarbu Państwa na swoją rzecz. Nic takiego tajemniczego.
There is nothing mysterious nor difficult which comes up in forming the new government. There are natural negotiations between coalition parties in the Law and Justice bloc called United Right.
W ścisłym gronie i bardzo dobrze.
The deadline for the negotiations is November 12th, when the new parliament will assemble for the first time after the elections, and the old cabinet will step down at that moment.
Today, Polish prosecutors visited the Smolensk North Military Airport, where the wreck of the Polish Tu-154M plane is located. According to unofficial information, the purpose of the visit is to conduct research that, according to the American experts, cooperating with Polish investigators is necessary. The last time the Polish prosecutors were in Smolensk was May, earlier this year. On April 10, 2010, the Tu-154M aircraft carrying a Polish delegation going to the 70th anniversary of the Katyn massacre crashed near Smolensk. 96 people were killed, including the President of Poland, Lech Kaczynski. A 31-year-old woman, along with 3 young children, have died in a tenement house fire in the city of Inowrocław. The 3-story house is located at Orłowska Street on the outskirts of Inowrocław.
Some residents of the tenement house escaped before the fire brigade arrived. According to police information, a minimum of 40 people are registered in the tenement house. Firemen took an unconscious woman and her 3 children from one of the apartments. Unfortunately, despite attempts to resuscitate them, they could not be saved. The cause is as yet unknown. Police reported that the prosecutor's investigation will be initiated. The president of Inowrocław has announced a 2-day mourning period.
The spectacular actions of the American Special Forces, in which the head of the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was killed, remains one of the hottest topics online and in the media. Commentators have described this as a blow to Islamic terrorists. But the death of the self-proclaimed caliph is by no means spelling the end of ISIS.
The news of the death of the leader of the Islamic State, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, who was one of the most wanted terrorists by the United States, has dominated the media around the world. On Sunday, the American President Donald Trump announced at a press conference that al-Baghdadi blew himself up along with 3 children during an operation of the U.S. Special Forces in Syria. Trump added that he was watching the operation live in the White House.
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. He was whimpering, screaming, and crying. And frankly, I think it's something that should be brought out. so that his followers and all of these young kids that want to leave various countries, including the United States, they should see how he died.
I am happy because I was imprisoned 3 times by the Islamic State. I have problems with my back and nervous system until now because of all the torture. Thank God I'm happy today, very happy. Baghdadi led the terrorist organization since 2010, when it was still part of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. News of his death emerged several times before, most recently in June 2017, although the White House did not release a special statement back then. The killing of Baghdadi, of course we are against all terrorist organizations. God willing, Syria will be cleansed of all terrorists and terrorist organizations, and at the head the biggest terrorist is Bashar al-Assad regime.
A motion regarding early elections submitted by Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been put to the vote in the House of Commons today. According to British media, the head of the government will not be able to find the required majority of 2/3 of deputies to push through the proposal. Earlier, the House of Commons approved the agreement on the withdrawal of Great Britain from the European Union, but the MPs did not agree to the 3-day schedule of work on the bill proposed by the head of the government. Today, the ambassadors of the member states of the European Union have agreed yet again to postpone Brexit, this time until January the 31st, 2020.
Order.
The British PM mentioned the possibility of asking for earlier elections before Tuesday's vote on the Brexit deal. The project of leaving the EU passed the first vote, although the MPs did not agree with the quick legislative route propagated by the government, which planned to end the work on the bill after 3 days. The lack of agreement on this part means that the Brexit bill won't come into force before October 31st, the due date given by the EU. Although all the major parties in England technically agree on the need for the new elections, it's still unclear whether all the MPs will support their party's stance. The current term of the House of Commons ends in 2022. According to the bill concerning the length of the Chamber's term of office, the earlier elections can take place only if it's voted for by 2/3 of the House.
Thank you very much for joining me here this evening at Poland Daily. I'm John Carter. Stay tuned after the break for Poland Daily Weather. It's followed by the business, then it's the culture, the history and finally the travel.